If you want a simple way to conceptualize boundaries, I want you to imagine a spectrum on a line. And on one end of the line is the word rigid, and on the other end is the word permeable. So rigid is essentially a closed door policy. You don't have access to me. You don't have access to my time, to my attention, to my thoughts, feelings, actions. I'm not sharing any of those things with you. And even if you press me for them, it's still a flat no. And on the other end, we have permeable, which is essentially the opposite. In the extreme, it means you have full access to me. You have access to my time, to my attention, to what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, my physical space, maybe even to my finances. It's basically an open door policy. Come and go as you please. So those are the two extremes, and then you have everything in between. And before you judge these extremes, just know that we actually need the ability to do both. We need the ability to have rigid boundaries because some people are genuinely unsafe and they may not have good intentions towards us. So for those people, rigid boundaries is an appropriate response. But we also need the ability to have permeable relationships because that's how we let love in. If you ever hope to have a long-term relationship or a partner one day, you're going to need the ability to let down your guard a little bit and let people get to know the real you. Now, a lot of issues in relationships or functioning can come down to an imbalance in boundaries or an inability to move where certain people lie on that spectrum for you. An imbalance towards the rigid can lead to loneliness, while an imbalance towards the permeable can lead to hidden resentment or possibly being manipulated or abused. We need to develop the skills to move and change where we place certain people on this spectrum. If there's a relationship in your life right now that is feeling a little unsatisfactory, simply ask yourself, where am I placing this person on the spectrum right now? And then you could just try moving them either towards the rigid a little bit or maybe towards the permeable and see if that feels any better. It might take some maneuvering, but ultimately we want boundaries to enable us to feel good about our relationships. I made a printout of this spectrum in case that's helpful for you. The link is in the bio. And follow for more future talks on healthy boundaries.